I've always been careful with my medication. Living with a severe autoimmune condition means following a strict regimen means same time, same dosage, every single day. But that Friday morning, something felt wrong the moment I swallowed my pills. My name is Kate Sullivan, and at 28, I've spent the last decade managing my condition while building a successful career in pharmaceutical research. The irony isn't lost on me. My sister Megan, 2 years younger, has always been the healthy one, as my parents like to remind me. "You don't look sick," Megan would say, rolling her eyes whenever I had to cancel plans due to a flare-up. "You're just being dramatic." That morning, as I sat at my kitchen counter, my throat started burning immediately after taking my medication. The sensation was unfamiliar, wrong. Within minutes, my vision blurred, and my hands started shaking. "Something's wrong." I managed to text my colleague Anna before my phone slipped from my trembling fingers. The last thing I remember was Megan's voice, surprisingly close, saying, "Oh my God, I didn't think it would be this bad." I woke up in the hospital 3 days later. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as my parents stood by my bedside, their faces drawn with worry. But it was the police officer in the corner that caught my attention. "Miss Sullivan," he said, stepping forward, "we need to ask you some questions about your sister." "What about Megan?" I croaked, my throat still raw. That's when my mother burst into tears. "It was just a prank," she sobbed. "She didn't mean any harm. You know how Megan is, always playing jokes." The officer's expression hardened. "Ma'am, tampering with prescription medication isn't a prank, it's a felony." Pieces started coming together through my foggy mind. The burning sensation, Megan's presence in my apartment that morning, her words as I lost consciousness. "Your sister has admitted to switching your medication," the officer continued. "She claims she only meant to make you sick enough to miss your presentation at work." The presentation, of course. I was supposed to present my research findings to the board that morning, research that could lead to a promotion. Megan had recently applied for a position at my company, despite having no relevant experience. "She says she replaced your pills with something harmless," my father interjected. "Just something to upset your stomach. She didn't mean to. We've sent samples of both the original medication and what was substituted for testing," the officer cut in. "The results should be back soon." My parents spent the next hour trying to convince me to drop any charges. "She's your sister," my mother pleaded. "Family forgives." But as I lay there, tubes running into my arms, monitors beeping steadily beside me, I couldn't shake the memory of Megan's voice. "I didn't think it would be this bad. Not I didn't mean to hurt you, or I'm sorry." She knew exactly what she was doing. Anna visited that evening, bringing my laptop and a grim expression. "Kate," she said quietly, "there's something you need to know. The position Megan applied for, it was filled yesterday. By me." The pieces clicked further into place. Megan hadn't just wanted me to miss the presentation. She wanted to sabotage my career at a crucial moment. She'd always competed with me, always resented my success, despite my health challenges. "Your sister's been telling people at the company that you're too sick to work," Anna continued. "That the family's worried about your ability to handle responsibility." Before I could respond, my phone buzzed with a text from the hospital lab. The preliminary blood test results were in. What I read made my blood run cold. "Get the officer," I told Anna, my hands shaking for a different reason now. This wasn't just a prank. The tests show. The toxicology report revealed levels of warfarin, a powerful blood thinner, in my system. This wasn't some harmless prank to cause an upset stomach. This was calculated. Warfarin, when mixed with my autoimmune medication, could have killed me. As a pharmaceutical researcher, I knew exactly how dangerous this combination was, and so did Megan. "Your sister completed a pharmacy tech certification last year, didn't she?" Detective Roberts asked, reviewing his notes in my hospital room. I nodded, remembering how our parents had praised her for finally finding a career path, even though she'd never actually worked in the field. "She would have learned about drug interactions," I said quietly. She knew exactly what she was doing. When confronted with the toxicology results, my parents' defense of Megan finally began to crack. Mom sat in the corner of my hospital room, clutching her handbag, shaking her head in disbelief. Dad just stared out the window, his shoulders slumped in defeat. "This has to be a mistake," Mom whispered. "Megan wouldn't, she couldn't, but she had." The evidence was irrefutable. Security footage from my apartment building showed Megan entering my unit at 6 a.m. that morning, using the spare key she'd borrowed months ago. She was there for exactly 7 minutes. long enough to tamper with my medication. What broke me wasn't the betrayal itself, but the text messages the police found on her phone. Messages to her friend laughing about her plan. Kate's always been the special one, because of her illness. Let's see how she handles being really sick for once. Maybe if she screws up this presentation, people will finally see she's not so perfect. Don't worry, I know exactly what to give her. It'll just make her sick enough to miss work. No permanent damage, probably. Detective Roberts showed me the messages while my parents were getting coffee. Miss Sullivan, he said gently, this level of premeditation changes things. Your sister is looking at serious charges. I could hardly process it. The sister who'd held my hand through doctor's appointments when we were kids, who'd defended me from bullies in high school, had deliberately tried to harm me, all because of professional jealousy. Anna visited again, bringing more disturbing news from the office. Megan's been telling everyone you had a mental breakdown, she said, her face tight with anger. She's claiming you mixed up your own medications because you're unstable. Some people are actually believing her. That was Megan's specialty, spinning narratives, making herself the hero or the victim, depending on what served her best. She'd done it our whole lives, but never with stakes this high. The hospital psychiatrist stopped by, not to evaluate me, but to share her professional observations. Your sister's behavior shows a disturbing pattern of escalation, she explained. Starting with small competitions, moving to sabotage, and finally to physical harm. Without intervention, this pattern typically worsens. I thought about all the accidents over the years. My research notes going missing before important deadlines. My car mysteriously developing problems before job interviews. Even my coffee tasting strange on days I had important meetings. How many times had Megan tried to hurt me before this? Then came the security footage from the pharmacy where Megan worked part-time. It showed her pocketing medications, including warfarin, days before the incident. The detective said she'd been planning this for weeks. My parents finally stopped begging me to forgive and forget. The evidence was too overwhelming, the intent too clear. Mom broke down completely when she saw the pharmacy footage. I enabled this, she sobbed. Always making excuses for her behavior. Always pushing you to forgive her little pranks. I didn't see what she was becoming. Dad, a retired judge, just looked tired. I should have seen the pattern, he said. I've sentenced people for less than what she's done, but I never wanted to believe my own daughter could. The hospital prepared for my discharge, but the doctors were concerned about sending me home. Your sister is out on bail, Dr. Patterson warned. Until the trial, you need to be extremely careful with any medication, and you shouldn't stay alone. Anna immediately offered her spare room. We'll set up cameras, change all your locks. The whole team at work has your back, Kate. We won't let her hurt you again. As I packed my hospital bag, a final piece of evidence arrived. The lab had found traces of other medications in my system, dating back months. Small amounts, not enough to cause serious harm, but enough to make me sick occasionally. Megan hadn't just tried to poison me once. She'd been doing it gradually, testing the waters, seeing what she could get away with. The thought made me physically ill. We'll need to add these findings to the charges, Detective Roberts said, reviewing the new report. This wasn't an isolated incident. This was an ongoing campaign of deliberate harm. My hands shook as I signed the updated police statement. My sister, my own flesh and blood, had been slowly poisoning me for months. And she would have kept doing it if she hadn't gotten greedy, if she hadn't wanted to cause maximum damage on the day of my presentation. As I prepared to leave the hospital, I couldn't help but wonder what else would the investigation reveal. The trial was set for 3 months after my hospital release. During that time, more disturbing evidence emerged. The police investigation uncovered a journal in Megan's apartment, a detailed diary of her attempts to sabotage not just my career, but my life. March 15th, slipped some IPEC into Kate's coffee before her board meeting. She threw up in front of everyone. Maybe now they'll see she's not so perfect. April 23rd, mixed some medication into her water bottle before her date with David. He won't want to date someone who's unstable. Each entry made me sick to my stomach. The mysterious illnesses, the ruined relationships, the bad luck that seemed to follow me. It had all been Megan, systematically trying to destroy every good thing in my life. The district attorney, Sarah Martinez, called me to her office to review the evidence. Your sister's journal gives us a strong case for premeditated attempted murder, she explained. But there's more. She pulled out a stack of papers, printouts of emails between Megan and various pharmaceutical suppliers. She'd been ordering medications under false pretenses for months, building up a collection of drugs she could use against me. This wasn't just about making you miss work, Martinez said. She was experimenting, seeing which combinations would make you sickest without raising suspicion. My parents sat in stunned silence as the evidence mounted. Mom had stopped defending Megan, instead spending hours in therapy, trying to understand how she'd missed the signs. Dad threw himself into helping the prosecution, his legal experience finally being used to protect me, instead of excuse Megan. The morning of the trial, I sat in the courthouse bathroom, trying to steady my nerves. Anna stood guard outside. We still weren't taking any chances with my safety. Through the door, I heard a familiar voice. Please, I just need to talk to her. It was Megan. Kate, please. They're making this seem worse than it was. Security removed her, but her words echoed in my head. Even now facing serious charges, she was trying to minimize what she'd done. In the courtroom, I took the stand and told my story. I described waking up in the hospital, learning about the poisoning, discovering the months of manipulation and abuse. Megan sat at the defense table, tears streaming down her face, playing the role of the remorseful sister. But then the prosecution played their ace, a recording from the jail, where Megan was held after her arrest. She was talking to another inmate, laughing about what she'd done. She always thought she was better than me, with her fancy degree and her perfect job, but I showed her. Should have seen her face when she realized something was wrong. Priceless. The jury's expressions hardened, Megan's tears dried up, her lawyer looked like he wanted to disappear. The verdict came back in less than 2 hours. Guilty on all counts. Attempted murder, tampering with prescription medication, ongoing criminal conspiracy. The judge, looking at the overwhelming evidence of premeditation and lack of remorse, sentenced her to 15 years. Your actions show a disturbing pattern of calculated malice, he said. You didn't just try to harm your sister once, you made it your mission to systematically destroy her life. The court cannot ignore such deliberate cruelty. As they led Megan away, she turned to me one last time. I hate you, she spat. You always have to win, don't you? I didn't respond. She still didn't get it. This wasn't about winning, evident. It was about survival. The aftermath was both healing and painful. My parents sold their house, unable to live with the memories. Mom joined a support group for families of convicted criminals. Dad retired from law completely, focusing instead on advocacy for victims of familial abuse. My company stood by me throughout everything. The board not only gave me the promotion I'd been up for, but also implemented new security measures to protect employees' medical information. A year after the trial, I received a letter from Megan's prison counselor. Your sister still shows no genuine remorse, it read. She maintains that you deserved what she did to you. For your own safety, I recommend maintaining complete separation, even after her eventual release. I filed for a permanent restraining order the next day. Today I'm stronger but worrier. My medication is kept in a locked safe. I have security cameras in my home and office. Some might call it paranoid, but I call it survival. The hardest lesson wasn't learning that my sister tried to kill me. It was accepting that sometimes family isn't about blood. It's about who actually wants you to survive and thrive. Anna, my colleagues, even my parents in their own way, proved that family can be chosen. As for Megan, I finally understand that forgiveness isn't always the answer. Sometimes justice is.